show you how I wash my brushes. I've been using oil paint, so I've got brushes that are now dirty and full of oil paint here. I'm going to show you the process that I use to take good care of them. These are my favourite brushes, these are my best brushes. These are by Rosemary & Co. And they're beautiful quality brushes, and if I look after them they should last for many years. As you can see, they're still a lovely shape at the end and they've had plenty of use already. So what I do when I finish painting, and I do this every time I finish painting for a day, and the first thing is to take off all the excess paint that I can using tissue. This is kitchen roll. So just wipe off all the excess paint. So after removing the excess paint, I'm going to dip the brushes into my brush washer, and this has some white spirit in it, and I've got proper white spirit there. I tried a low odour version of this once and it didn't work at all. It was like you're trying to use water. So it's real white spirit, and that will get the majority of the paint off the brush. It's got a lining inside it, so you can rub the brush against it. And my son doesn't believe me when I say I'm making a video. So dunking them in there, rubbing them against the bottom of the liner, and then wiping off the white spirit. And most of the paint is coming off with that. But if I leave them at this point, I find that they're quite dry and stiff the next day. They're not so good to use, and I like to start every painting session with clean brushes. So it's a nice fresh start every time you paint. So I've got them all there dipped and wiped, and I've got warm soapy water in there. I'm going to put the lid back on that because it smells badly. And I'm going to use fairy liquid, and this is the original fairy liquid, which is the best thing for painting, for cleaning paintbrushes. And I've tried the ones with fragrance in them and they're not nearly as good. It has to be the original one. So I put a little bit in my brush, in my hand, and I just get the soap rubbed into the brush that way. And if you can see, the soap takes up the colour from the brush, so even though the brush has had a dip in white spirit, this is going kind of greenish from the paint that's been on it. And I give them a good rub through, but gently. I don't try not to scrub it back and, you know, too harshly, but give them a stroke to try and get the soap in between the bristles. And you don't want paint collecting here on a brush. It forces the bristles apart if it gets down into the ferrule too much. So I try and kind of pull the paint away from there. But ideally when you're painting, you try not to rub the paint up into the ferrule. And then just go through them all. And I'll do that quickly. So this is the last one, and you can see how much colour has come out, I hope, of the brushes, even though they've been dipped in white spirit. So this is the halfway stage, so they've all been soaped, and I've got soap in all the brush heads there. Some of the brushes have got paint up the handle, so I'm going to rub that soapy water up the handles as well. And then run some warm water in here, give them a good swish about. You do them in a group just to get the bubbles flowing, and that helps to draw the paint out as well. So it's quite bubbly now. Now if I look at these, I can see there's a little bit of colour in one or two of these, so I'll do those again. Some of the colours stain the brushes. And our dog is playing with his pig. There's no chance of ever having any quiet time in this house. So this is still coming out slightly pink looking, so it's good to give it a second wash. A bit in that too. When the bubbles come up clean, sort of clear looking, you know your brushes are clean. I'll rinse them off in the soapy water once. Go down the handles too. Let the soapy water go and rinse them again in clean water. And that looks pretty good. And the next job is to dry them. And when I dry them, I tidy up the brush head as I do it. With these brushes, if you get them into the right shape as they dry, they will stay like that and they'll be clean and tidy and neat for the next time you want to paint. So I dry them like that, just to pull them into shape, and then I make sure the ferrule is clean and wipe up the handle. So if any paint has got on the handle, it'll be nice and clean for next time. And stand them that way up in a jar so that there's no pressure on these brush heads at all as they dry. Otherwise they take on the shape that they dry in, just like if you go to bed with your hair wet. So I'll dry the rest of these. So there you have it, all dry, beautifully shaped again, all ready for the next time I want to use them. They'll dry overnight and they'll be perfect to go tomorrow.